into the game, easterly playing path all the way up to La Cabrera here, and it's gonna limit a little bit of where you can go on the western side. El Pozo's a little bit far away, but Picado, I think it's gonna be a little bit of a hot spot. BTR, they're not really getting these positions as comfortably anymore, and that's where BTR went yesterday.
See as well, who's going to drop towards Picado, who's going to take those central areas. Very crucial in a map like Miramar. It's so rotation dependent, and you know, we saw the interview the other day with, I believe it was Luxy from Biggytron, and they were saying Miramar is one of their favorite maps because they like how rotation dependent it is. So no surprise to see them. Pretty much, I think they're going to head towards Picado here.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, so comes straight on. It's not super central, but it does maintain a lot of the area. The interesting thing about this, because you've got Chumacera, you've got Los Leones, and you've also got Picado. So you've got like this triangle formation right here where it's slightly difficult to make these rotations because people will have eyes on you wherever you go. But there's decisions to be made. Where do you want to go? Do you want to try and take up residence in Chumacera in the foothills? Or do you want to take something early like a fight between Team Secret and TSM?
Hacienda del Patron will be fought over. Two teams going at it is Team Secret and TSM Entity. One down already over towards the squad from TSM Entity. As Team Secret give them the run around. Managed to get those guns on board first and get a little bit of a better spot. But they are going to lose one early on, and a lot of damage sent over towards Neo as well. Not how you want to start it coming into Miramar.
There is a huge clump of players in this area as well. You've got BTR, Box Gaming, Valdus. Team Secret is just beneath you level up alongside TSM Entity. And, you know, RRQ are also poised to run into here, but I think they're more likely to make a rotation off to the western side, maybe take up residence in Monte Nuevo, get some loot there. But this would be an ideal position for either of these teams to disengage or quickly take the fight now. I think TSM want to get out. They're slightly underlooted. Team Secret has the better position on the fences.
Yeah, they have got most of that control over the ground, but that's going to mean that TSM Entity have less loot. They're going to need to try and trash up around some of these little compounds nearby, around some of the little shacks, and maybe get one or two meds on board, but they're going to be really struggling, so we'll see if they're able to pull on through. Over in San Martin, we got two squads here stacking up. It's Megastars, and I believe that's Valdez the Murder as well, just over the road. Not really come into contact just yet.
Well, I mean, let's look back at Erangel, the first game of the day, really quickly, just to try and break this down a bit. We had 3 teams towards Milton, no one in Pachinki, and Avenger was talking about this yesterday, saying there's lots of these unclaimed loot spots that no one wants to go to. So Team Entity, TSM Entity are in an even more of a worse situation here because they're not going to get the resources on board that they want early on. They're also running into a huge swathe of players who are all around them. So like you say, it's going to be trash looting for them, which is not good on Miramar when you really need those resources towards the end, especially if you get caught out in one of those valleys and you've got people shooting at you, taking your helmet off. You need those meds.
I mean, it's interesting that you bring up, you know, a lot of these places aren't claimed yet. It was Kratos from Team IND who actually messaged me before the broadcast and was saying that a lot of these teams seem to be keeping a lot of strategies in the back pocket. So maybe they're not going for their proper loot locations. Maybe they're not going for those proper drops. And they're waiting for the regular days of the season to come through after this opening weekend.
Yeah. I put a little poll as well asking what kind of players we should be watching out for. Snacks was up there from Team IND. I mean, Team
Put that
IND,
up on Instagram, right?
On Instagram, yeah. I mean, IND are a pretty nice team. We've seen them since all the way last year in Fall Split, right? But yeah, Kratos, you seem like a really lovely guy who's dropping smiley faces. He was having a good old chat with you, chinwag.
Ah, the emoji game's strong. What can I say?
We got Froz in front of us here for just a second, but we are still enjoying these games. Synergy all the way up to the northeastern side at the moment. They're going to make their way down. They're having a decent time. This is what they like to do. They like to play out on the edges of the map for the time being. Lepovka is their general spot on Erangel. That's quite far out of the way, but they're doing a really good job recently preventing themselves from being gate-kept. The issue is, here it's a little bit more difficult for themselves. They've got about 6 teams that they're going to have to run through just to get into the circle itself.
Yeah, it could be a pretty tricky gauntlet to be able to get through, but they'll try their best. You level up as well. They're going to be rotating. This is through the area surrounding Hacienda del Patron, and we know how crowded that can be. Orange Rock are going to be there. Winter takes a lot of damage from the sideline. Very has to go for the reload, and the Defilade depletes the impact. They will not be able to get the knock, but Winter escapes by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, but you level up now split, so a little bit difficult for themselves. Orange Rock need to start considering about pulling back together. Viru has a grenade in hand, drops it out. Balan barely gets behind the corner, but Mao taken down by Marvi from the back line. So it looks like they've got one another's back here.
Absolutely, they've got those off angles, they've got the crossfire, and Miramar, it's so open, Blank. You can always take these angles and back your squad up. With Winter behind the hills, they were able to be confident that at least one of them was going to be out of action. They can mount up, they can get those angles. Gil, the absolute madman that he is, we saw him take a crazy fight over on Erangel before, and it seems like he's just going to go for it again. Viru holding down inside one of these buildings. Up on the top floor. Now it's going to push on up, but goes straight down for it. The M4 spray is good. He wants to go out, looks for the flush. A lot of damage, but not quite going to be able to get the kill. Huoshuan going to try and cook a nade, but unfortunately for him, someone just around the corner. Scout rolling on through.
Yeah, Scout on a sliver of HP there, just about size. Viru will go down, though. Slightly unfortunate for Orange Rock, but Orange Rock are starting to really show themselves as a hugely aggressive team. And I mean, Gil from that last game, like you were talking about, that was a crazy move. We were talking about, look, he's got the knock here, he could probably run away, but instead he goes for it. But I'm liking that. I love aggressive teams. I like when they distinguish themselves early on as that kind of role within these teams that we have with us today in the East League.
And I mean, Orange Rock, they're currently sat second overall in the table, so they're having a really decent time of it. 25 kills, they are a game behind the current leaders, Bigatron, Red Aliens, so they still have a little bit more left to go, a little bit more in the tank. But then you look down the table and you look at RRQ Athena. They're 5 games currently, and they have 33 kills, so they're by no means the top fragger in the lobby, but they still have got some clout to them, and I think they're sort of putting their foot on the gas here, Blank.
Yeah, and I think Ernie finished yesterday with 10 kills total, so that guy was really, really popping off. But RRQ, they kind of have fell off a little bit over the past months. I mean, last year they were touted as being like the huge team in SCA, and now I think they're trying to bring it back. I think they're feeling a lot more comfortable with themselves, and they've shown that yesterday in the East League, so I'm loving the play style we're seeing from them. They're just getting caught off slightly, and I think most of the time yesterday that was purely because of BTR's ridiculously good positioning around the map.
Box currently sat out on the western side of the circle, just southeast of Montenuevo, between that and Picardo. It looks like they're going to be trying to guard out Megastars and RRQ behind them. But RRQ seem to be making a little bit of a counterclockwise rotation. They're going to be heading a little bit further down south past Ladriera, and making their way in near Chumacera.
I mean, it's very difficult here because there's limited ground here, which is completely safe. Obviously, you can see most teams who are around Los Leones are quite literally around Los Leones. No one wants to commit to that city yet. It's difficult to get out of. It's an industrial nightmare, so to speak. Picardo, on the other hand, no one's there as of yet, mostly playing around the hillsides on top, but next circle comes through. Eyes on from Cog. Let's see if he actually hits these shots onto IND, but they do just barely get out of there, but Kratos does get popped out the seat.
Yeah, they are going to be able to finish that one off as well. Nothing doing there for Team IND. They lose a player straight up, no trades. Unfortunate, but that's sometimes the way the cookie crumbles.
I mean, what they have achieved here is a decent positioning within the warehouses. That's all they can say for this. They're slightly central. They will now have to move out. Cog will have a bead on their position too, but they've got it. They know they have to move fast though, because they've found this position. Now they've got to leapfrog to somewhere better and just take the L on that kill that came through their way. Maybe play for the late game. They can't really go from any aggressive trades, especially playing with 3.
Down to 3, it's them, it's TSM Entity as well, down to 3. So both squads from South Asia not really doing so strong. However, Orange Rock, they are really bringing up the level there for them. So we'll hopefully be able to see some sort of showing coming out. Bigatron left Los Leones out. Left Picardo down to the south, and then out on the northwestern corner of Los Leones, and trying to find a spot that they're happy with. And if there's one thing that we know with Bigatron is they choose those spots really wisely.
Very, very wise. And I mean, most teams, you'll see them And that's a fight between Valdis and Team Secret, actually. So some of Mad Toy's previous teammates taking a bit of a vengeance battle. But this is the thing, is that BTR, once they want a spot, they will take it away from you because they have the fragging power to be able to do that. So a lot of the spots around the map are theirs for the taking, and they have the experience to know where is the best place to be, especially with all the kinds of circles that they've played before.
MJ tries to dunk, but unfortunately he's going to be taken away from the Chicago Bulls. Not going to be able to hit that one, unfortunately. Goes for the heel. Microboy in through the window, and down he falls. MJ is going to get flushed out as well. Microboy on a bit of HP left, but took maybe a little bit too much damage there for his liking. Gets away with it.
Yeah, it's slightly a bit of an issue, but Seltzer a little bit behind when it comes to coming into this fight, and Ryzen knows the exact path they want to take. Already explodes a vehicle, gets one knock. My God, BTR just tearing teams apart. Obviously, they didn't get hardly anywhere towards where they'd like to be in the last couple of games, but that's not to say they didn't do very well either. I mean, they're consistently hitting that top 10 spot, which is impressive to say the least. Nade comes over the top jump.
Oh, it's beautiful.
As if he's not dead.
Oh my goodness me, Rox on a sliver of HP.
I don't even see his HP. There's not even a sliver there.
I don't believe it's there. You can't prove it. You have no proof, Blank. Oh, it's there. They came back. Okay, fair enough. Crisis averted for Rox for now, but you still have Bigatron just over the hill and Ultron very low as well. Oh, Rox getting spotted out yet again. The angle's coming on.
That's terrifying.
And a second nade from Zuxi, able to do the job. And now they will ride on strong through for these kills. Ultron, low HP. Looking to get some shots through the smoke, but he's been spotted out. He's taken more flak as well. They've got the hit marker. He sends up high to try and find something, but there's nothing doing. That's going to be GXR Celts eliminated.
It's clean as well. I mean, BTR rarely miss these nades. And I mean, I think you can call that about as big of a miss. You'll see it from BTR. He's getting someone down to 1 HP. We've got Megastars on our screen, and we're actually starting to see a lot of fights pop off. And wow, that is a hard shift on our screen all the way up to the northwest. I was expecting this to end in Los Leones, but you know, Miramar, it's got other things in mind for us.
This fight that you're seeing on your screen right now, Blank, is a result of that crunch that we were seeing on the northwestern side. RRQ Athena went all the way down south to avoid it, but these teams are not going to be able to get unstuck so quickly, unfortunately. Box are guarding out the zone. Megastars trying to push through at the moment. Oh, a huge shot there for Pime. Takes down Oasis. The Megastars from out in the blue is the Lone Ranger for Box.
He does only have one first aid. We'll opt to use the bandages instead. Obviously, we're only in that second F circle, I believe, right now. It might be, and so he's not taking too much damage as of yet. But the crunch on the western side is actually kind of significant because we had very much an eastern plane path, right? Which means that all these teams have had the same idea to swing over the top of Miramar, head to the western side. So it's very hard to predict where anyone's going because there is teams on the eastern side, less teams on the eastern side than you would expect normally.
Unfortunately, Pime has the sideswipe onto two of the players from Megastars. He knocks one and follows up with a rat-a-tat-tat, knocked out the buggy. Brains go splat on the side of the warehouse. Paradox, last standing now for Megastars.
Megastars desperately want to try and get at least one player up. If they can play with two, it's definitely possible to hit that top 5 spot. Right now, they're in a really, really tough spot at the moment. Team Secret doing a really good job to actually gatekeep on this western side. And they've got a fairly decent path into the circle too. Most of it's uphill. They have a few compounds to play around with. We're starting to see them take some shots off towards these two teams that are out in the blue at the moment. Box has got a hard time. They know they have to get rid of Megastars if they want to get into the circle. But even after that, there's even more teams to face and limited resources to do it with.
Team Secret were on the edges, on the fringes of this fight, and it looks like they want to try and pick up the pieces from the Megastars here. 2 players remain from the end of that engagement. They lost the 2 that were sprayed down from out in the blue by Pime, and now they want to push on towards Team Secret.
Okay, so always nade in hand, drops it back out again. There are shots coming from all over. Yuhai saw this guy do excellent work in some of the previous games.
Oh, hang on a minute. How did he turn that around? Away's still going, and he's going to get the flush. My goodness me. Gets away with absolute murder there. Unfortunate, they weren't able to stop him, but he's very, very low. We'll need to try and commit for some of those heals.
RRQ
shots around the side, and this is RRQ coming back into the fray and trying to give them a little bit of a run for their money, and in fact, it's going to be the Megastars to go down. They get spotted out from the off angle.
Yeah, RRQ slipped beneath everyone's noses towards the beginning of the game, and now they're starting to move their way up. They've done it very, very slyly as well, like ninjas almost, and now they have eyes onto Team Secret as well as Box. What they've got to be wary of is Team TSM Entity actually looking at any fight that they do take off to their northeast side. We get a next circle shift. It's a little bit off to the eastern side, so we've got some proper yoinks today, John.
Yeah, it's a little bit kinder to the teams that will have had to move to that northwestern side this circle. Or you can see most of them will be in and around there. Synergy E on the northeastern side, pushing out of La Bandita. Will have to move through Orange Rock, however.
I mean, they've had a very good time of it overall. Synergy actually moving down from the northeast really have bided their time. They've not moved unless they absolutely have to, and it's paid off. They knew that most teams are going to try and make their way over to the western side, try and slip in there, and they thought, look, we're just going to trot on down, get looted as possible. So they're going to be very well geared. They've not taken too many fights and avoided a lot of the mass hysteria towards the middle of the map. So very, very happy and excited to see them come in towards these later circles.
Bigatron, they've found their spot that they want, and it's a little bit of a crater there in the hills just to the north of Los Leones. A strong location to be holding down. They can move around pretty freely. There's not really too many sightlines down onto them, and they can control those ridges pretty effectively.
So now this is the fight between TSM Entity as well as Team Secret. This will define who actually gets into the circle and takes a strong position on the northwest side. So a very important fight to be sure, John. Currently, Team Secret with only 2 players. TSM Entity look far more composed here. Clutch God looking to move around the side.
I'm just going to pop the bandage as well. Just get a little bit of a sliver of HP back on board. Of course, remember, they had to leave early from their early loot location, which means they're going to be pretty low on supplies. And indeed, taking fights, probably not at the top of their list of things to be doing right now in Miramar. RRQ, spotting out the rotation from Box. They are going to be able to get just behind a little bit of cover. Lewis, not so lucky, but it's a trade. Pime, again, this guy's an absolute madman with this sniper. Slaying left and right, looks for another shot. Not quite able to connect it this time around, but RRQ think twice before peeking.
Yeah, and it buys them some time here for Box. Box have been really fighting with everyone in the circle. They've now moved down past RRQ towards the southern side. Didn't really want to take their chances with Team Secret as well as TSM Entity after seeing how well that went for Megastars. So this is actually decent, but they will be coming up against COG Gaming. COG's very, very soon, which is not going to be ideal for them, especially with how poised they've seemed in this circle so far.
Lewis is down out of the way. There's no way he's getting back into cover, unfortunately. So Box will be down to effectively just 2 players. You can see them there, Pime trying to get those shots over towards RRQ again. RRQ actually pins just a little bit, but they have a lot of utility. They're going to be able to get out of there. Team Secret, they get spotted out by TSM Entity on their push over the top of the hill. Now they're going to stack up on the bike and hope that they will not get spotted out in the next rotation.
That's a beautiful shot from Clutch God. I think that from watching this guy on Seoul last year, I'm really happy that he's found a consistent home now in TSM Entity, and that's exactly why, because he's so bloody strong.
He's going to go for the flush instead of taking the trade. Oh no, Rex able to shut him down and will get the flush. Not quite, but it's only a matter of time, only a matter of seconds. Neo makes the man dash across. Not going to be able to find the shots. Unfortunately, Rex not so lucky this time around. There's a close push coming in from Jonathan. One of the strongest players in the tournament right now. He's touted to be one of the best in the world, but unfortunately, he's not going to be able to make this push up and over. Let's go down, and now it's Neo in the back to try and pick up the pieces here from Rex.
And Neo already took a few bullets here from Rex. Starting to stomp on his way through. Unfortunately, Rex just does not have the meds available to him, but Neo very, very low here. Just one more shot will take him down, and it might be Rex to go all the way.
Oh my goodness me, he ends up making a 1 versus 3 happen there. Rex eliminates TSM Entity pretty much single-handedly there. There were only 3 players left, to be fair, but he takes them all down, and there's nothing doing.
Absolutely fantastic there from Rex, and you could hear The roars of victory from that boy, feeling very good about himself, and now he's got a free reign pretty much all the way to the eastern side, very easy to get in, so I'm looking at him potentially getting a spot towards his top, but his box gaming PMWL has done so much good so far, but finally it's King of Gamers to take them down with Concept finding the final shot there.
Sniper one-taps can only get you so far in a close-range engagement, Blank, and he's not going to be able to lay them down there. Team I&D taking a successful fight there. You saw that pop up in the kill feed, able to do some work. RRQ lose one on the push, but 3 of them remain strong in the US. They are all together in the vehicle, which I always advise against, Blank. I think it's the worst idea you could possibly have, because if the vehicle goes boom, you're pretty much stranded, and that's exactly what's happened to RRQ. Luckily, they've managed to get to a not indefensible spot.
King of Gamers has been taking a fantastic amount of fights here, but it's starting to bite back now because teams will know exactly where they are. They're taking shots from all over. There's only so long that you can keep making that much noise. Nades comes over the front from BTR once again. Oh, lordy.
Oh my goodness me, King of Gamers feeling the pain as well there. Nades just going out, bullets flying left and right, and Bigatron is starting to ramp up. They didn't have the greatest of starts to today, but they are really starting to push on back. This is the team that we know from yesterday. Microboy finds yet another, hits the deck, gets the heals on board. Look at that, the kill feed is just full of Bigatron right now.
Yeah, the Scout though actually doing a lot. Orange Rock from the back lines towards the northern side of the map doing huge amounts of work, but BTR, they just roll up, and now we're watching several fights at once. We've got Zuxi, Reject Gaming as well.
Goodness me, it's just the twins left now from Bigatron. As Orange Rock do in fact play spoiler. I said they were lighting up the kill feed. I didn't realize they were going to be on the right-hand side of it, unfortunately.
I know.
It's going to be Ryzen and Microboy both taking a dip, but there's no one really on the western side now to contest Bigatron. They have to make a big push, though, if they have to move out to the east, and that's exactly what happens. The circle falls straight towards Synergy.
And it's filled with the South Asian teams here. We've got Orange Rock, Nova Godlike, Synergy, as well as Team I&D. They've done an exceptional job to get this far, and a lot of it is biding their time and smart decision-making, and I think Team I&D is definitely one of the big ones here. They took a knock early. They realized, you know what, it's not the end of the world. Let's move out, let's get a better position in the circle from the south side, and then see what we can do from there. Now they've got a decent compound towards the southeast side of this circle. Very happy to see it. And Orange Rock, knowing that they have to cover a lot of ground as well as remove teams, they're circling around to the western side, but they're about to crash into Zuxi and Luxi.
The twins from Bigatron, but Zuxi falls early, and now Orange Rock want to try and push the other. Luxi holding it down behind some cover, goes for the spray out wide, doesn't take any damage crucially. Now he goes for the second fight. Marvi very low, but on the sidelines, the flank comes in from Viru, the buggy to save the day, and Bigatron eliminated in 7th.
And Scout, a lot of that was down to Scout there. Excellent play from him. The rocket in the UAS actually shoots out of the vehicle, immediately finds Zuxi. Beautiful roll there from Viru, just the style points directly behind the tree. I don't think you could have done it better.
Absolutely, 6th the landing, able to get a lot of cover as well. So, Orange Rock now with a lot of strength. They did lose 1 or 2. They got down Scout out on the western side and actually does get flushed out by Reject Scarlet. They will take 1 down. So Orange Rock down to 3 now, and no teams remain with all 4 left standing as Reject Scarlet have been knocked as well. Orange Rock taking heavy punishment on this rotate.
I mean, it's a difficult one. I mean, they're just desperately trying to get in. They have a little bit of area to play around with, but Team I&D, look at this split from them. They've got 3 players, but it's RRQ to try and actually assault this one, but damn, that's a nice job there from the Team I&D players. Aladdin here, battling back RRQ, and then Yurley.
Goodness me, Reject Scarlet as well chiming into the fight. Team I&D, they've got some Guardians from up on high. G9 trying to hide down behind a rock, but he's out in the blue. Will have to move on up. Goes to the spray towards Reject Scarlet, but gets spotted long range across the way from Synergy.
Schreider there, he's one of my favorite players to watch. He just has some exceptional pop-off moments, but look at Synergy. From all the way in the northeast, they've made a long run down here, but they've selected a very strong position. They've got superior high ground, and it's going to be extremely, extremely hard work for Orange Rock to win this game.
I said Nova Godlike, I was going to say Nova Godlike didn't have any kills, but now they're starting to come into it. They've been relatively quiet so far, but Orange Rock are in their sights, and they pick it up no problem. They're starting to get those points on board as they have control over one of the sides of this cliff face. They've got some pressure up the top as well, which means they're going to have some decent oversight moving forwards, Black.
Smokey here. we were watching him last year, and I mean, he'd fallen off a little bit from his prime when he was one of the most important historic members of the PUBG mobile community in South Asia, but now he's starting to pick it up again, and it's really, really good to see. Circle, though, hard shift off to the northern side, but Synergy, they do have some players still in there, but it's Nova Godlike who've been able to slip their way in. Will Synergy recognize this?
Only one player up the top of the hill at the moment for Nova Godlike, which could give Synergy E a little bit of an advantage if they take that fight in the right way, because there's not really any backup you can send there in time if that fight goes south. But Team I&D will be pushing on the long run. Orange Rock as well will need to push in. Their last remaining player, Gil, you can see him hunkering down, and I think Nova Godlike know exactly where he is.
Ideally, for Team I&D, they need to wait for the fight to fully break out between Nova Godlike as well as Synergy, and then move in. I think they've moved a little bit early here, and now they're feeling the pain from it. The circle wasn't going to push them for a little while. Now they're down to 2, Slayer and Snacks. By no means should we count these 2 players out yet, though. They're very strong.
Orange Rock go down to the blue. He did get the knock, but wasn't able to get the flush. That one was stolen away. In fact, now 3 teams remain. I&D, Nova Godlike, and Synergy E. The South Asia ringer battle will be coming on through. We'll see who's going to be able to come out on top of it. Nades flying up on high, and the high ground advantage for Nova Godlike does get dismounted. Drops down very, very quickly. They might be able to get this res if they have their wits about them. It looks like they are going to go for it, so stay at 3 strong.
Synergy, this is a perfect position for them. They've poised themselves in the best position to win this game. It'll be very difficult for them to lose here. They cannot get sideswiped by Team I&D though, but Austin has got a decent angle, whilst the rest of the team tries to flush out these players from Nova Godlike beneath them.
Ted moving on forwards, wants the up angle, wants to be able to have that pressure. But they're zoning them away for going for that flank as well. The utility being sent through. Ted takes a lot of damage there. That's going to slow them down. That's going to make them think twice. It might give Team I&D a chance to move up to the high ground. That's exactly what they've done, Blank.
Yeah, in the meantime, they've managed to gain some ground here, but so little HP. Austin and Strider still very healthy. That Slayer going down, just Snacks remaining now. Smokes are the only thing keeping him alive. That's I&D going down in 3rd. And now it's just Nova Godlike, the 3 players below versus Synergy. And Synergy are going to start to make the push, knowing there's no sideswipe available.
Now it's head-to-head with these 2 squads. Synergy E, all 4 players alive. They're feeling good right now. They're dropping the nades down, trying to move them out from these corners. But Nova Godlike, they hold their nerve. They're controlling these angles. They're cooking some nades to try and send up the top. Ted looks for the knock. Will find it onto Cronton. Takes a little bit of damage from the nade. Another cook coming on through. CFE wants to push through. The Grozer is there. Vampire pulls out another nade with the Molotov underarm. Will burn them on out. Don't think you're going to be able to survive that one. Steps into the sunlight, and Vampire cornered now. Smokey holding down the off angle.
Civi with the stake above, ready to drive it into the heart. There it is, though. Vampire will bite back with the fangs. Austin looking for more, but it's Smokey with a great angle. Do they even know he's here? Strider might walk straight past him, and he will. Just about gets away.
So close, he pushes out wide. Smokey goes for the spray, but he can't quite manage to make it happen. Unfortunately, just at the final.